Can you be transformed by trauma? I mean, in a good way. We've all heard of PTSD, but there's this thing called post-traumatic growth. And telling the story is an important part of this process. So I'd like to tell you my story and how my trauma has impacted me. And in unpeeling that onion, we'll share with you how post-traumatic growth has allowed me to find my own authentic leadership. So this is where my story starts. As a child, I often wondered how my mum could skip stones across the water so much better than I. What was it about the way she held the rock, the way she angled her arm? What made it work? And it's not just about the angle. You see, the rock needs speed. It needs forward momentum at the same time of having its own spinning force. Spin provides stability both in the air and on the water. You also need the right rock, the balance between aerodynamics and anatomics, the right size and shape for flight that also fits inside the thrower's hand comfortably. A calm, flat water surface also helps a treat. What I didn't realise at the time is what you're looking at is an engineer. In my first year of working life, I wrote a paper that won me selection to the World Energy Congress in the USA, the title, Moving Toward a Sustainable Future with Renewable Energy Technology. It was 1998. I was a climate change and energy geek way before my time. But as I immersed myself into the new world of work, the first thing I noticed was the illusion of inclusion. This organisation was saying all the right things. They'd gone out of their way to get a female engineer. But when I started my leadership journey, this is the engineering leader I saw. This is the engineering leader I saw. And more importantly, what I observed and heard, the culture I experienced, was that the people who were successful, the people that were promoted, were white, male, domineering. They didn't take any crap, but they also did not listen to or value the opinions of their lessers. They shut down ideas or any thinking that differed from well-accepted practices. I also wanted to be successful, and whilst I couldn't change my gender or my physical size, I could very well emulate everything else they were doing. And so I did. But more, because I had to. I had to make sure they didn't see me as being soft because I was a woman. I had to go harder than they did. And it paid off because the culture, the way we do things around here, was to promote people like me. So I climbed the dizzying heights of middle management atop a growing mound of my leadership casualties. And from the outside, people would say, wow, she's got drive, she gets things done, she's tough. But I was a mouse pretending to be an elephant. It was disingenuous, a means to an end that I hadn't yet defined. What did success look like anyway? But before I'd even imagined that question into existence, let alone answered it, then came the trauma. For me, it was breast cancer at the age of 36, and it truly changed my life. Breast cancer was unthinkable. It was not a risk I perceived. Everything that I knew about breast cancer was that it happened to older, unfit, overweight women that had no children, didn't breastfeed. I was none of those things. I literally went from mentally checking off the shopping list of items I needed for my son's 4th birthday party to wondering how many years I needed to last in order for the kids to remember me. I was in this traumatized state for a couple of years, surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, more surgery. For a while, I was extremely anxious and hypervigilant, but as time went on, I worked my way through it. I used words such as wake-up call. Richard Tedeschi would call it a challenge to my high-order schemas, things that we believe without question in order to help us understand the world and our place in it. Like, if you do all the right things, you won't get cancer. You see, when schemas are challenged, life seems less understandable. Trauma shatters schemas, but the growth occurs in the rebuilding. It is the reconstruction of the schemas that allows the world to be comprehensible again, reducing emotional distress and also allowing other important life changes to be possible. Of course, I didn't know any of this at the time. I didn't know I was growing through trauma. All of this just happened. And because of my new outlook, I started living a life at home and at work that aligned to my values. Life was too short to pretend to be someone I was not, and too short to waste time on inconsequential things. I gained resilience, a feeling that I could now handle anything. I embraced my love of developing people and understood that made me a better leader, not soft, and I actively worked on our culture. I became an overuser of the phrase, don't sweat the small stuff, and the people I work with often describe me as calm. Instantly, I got a response from the power of authenticity, the power of telling real stories, of being vulnerable. This was my light bulb moment. So I remembered the girl that wondered about the skipping stones and the one who wanted to make a difference in the world, moving towards a sustainable future. In growing through trauma, I had my true north now, a direction in which to launch my stone. I had inner strength, providing stability through the changing environment. I was able to influence and calm the waters around me. I had alignment in my values, the right angle of approach, and I no longer needed a pile of weaponized rubble, sharp-edged rocks, and large boulders with which to make a meaningless splash. I just needed the one that fit the task and felt right in my hand. It's fantastic to have this positive outcome of growth as a result of a terrible experience, but obviously we don't wish to prescribe trauma to others hoping to grow. We all experience setbacks, however, and setbacks minus the trauma can also provide important life learnings of empathy and understanding, provide personal insight into what you're capable of and how you treat others when the chips are down. Setbacks can also allow you to be more open and alive to existing opportunities or open up new ones through re-evaluation of what really matters. So that's my story. The Executive Fellows Program has given me a chance to step off the dance floor and observe myself, to piece these fragments of things that I knew about myself together and make sense of it in a broader context by applying the knowledge and frameworks put forward by others, and to be able to see my whole self as an instrument of leadership. Jan Yamaba, thank you.